Being a chosen one often means walking through fire while the world watches in silence. It means enduring betrayal not just from enemies but sometimes from those closest to you. People begin to whisper, twist your words, create stories around your name that have no foundation in truth. You become the subject of gossip, the target of slander, and the name people try to destroy to make themselves feel powerful. What they fail to realize is that there is a higher power watching it all unfold. Every lie spoken in secret, every accusation made behind your back, every attempt to drag your name through the dirt is recorded and remembered, not by men, but by God. While it may seem like the wicked go unpunished and the deceitful rise in status, divine justice moves differently. It doesn't always strike when we expect it to, but when it does, it is undeniable and complete. The path of the chosen is not designed for comfort, it's designed for growth, for strength, and for spiritual elevation. That's why the attacks come so aggressively. The enemy doesn't bother those who are already lost, he goes after those marked for greatness. That slander that was spoken against your name, it wasn't just words, it was a spiritual assignment meant to discourage you, derail you, and make you doubt who you are. But the fact that you're still standing, still rising, still holding onto your faith, means the assignment failed. And that failure will not go unpunished. Divine justice doesn't miss. It may delay, but it never forgets. God sees everything, not just your tears but also the motives behind those who caused them. He knows when someone pretends to care while secretly plotting your downfall. He knows when someone publicly smiles at you but privately disrespects you. He sees the heart, not just the actions. Slander is a powerful weapon because it attacks what people can't see: your reputation, your identity, your integrity. And once spoken, it spreads like wildfire. But what they forgot is that you are chosen, and the chosen are not defenseless. You are backed by divine authority. The same mouth that tried to tear you down will one day speak of your elevation. The same people who laughed at your pain will witness your comeback and have no choice but to acknowledge that you were covered by a higher hand all along. When God steps in to bring justice, it shakes foundations. It doesn't just correct the wrongs done to you, it makes an example out of those who thought they could mock his anointed and escape without consequence. Being slandered is one of the most painful experiences, not just because of the lies, but because of how easily people believe them. It feels like your truth isn't loud enough, like your voice isn't strong enough to defend who you really are. But that's where God's justice comes in. You don't have to fight every battle with your hands. Some battles are spiritual, and they require a higher level of intervention. God allows certain seasons of silence so that when he moves, there's no mistaking it was him. He will restore your name in ways that silence your enemies. He will raise you in public after you were humiliated in private. And those who tried to profit from your pain will realize too late that they touched the wrong one. People don't understand the cost of being chosen. They see your strength and mistake it for arrogance. They see your calling and assume you're trying to be better than others. But what they don't see are the sleepless nights, the spiritual warfare, the burden of being misunderstood and misrepresented. They don't see the way you cry out for peace, not revenge. They don't see the way you've asked God to forgive those who hurt you. And still, even in your grace, they continue to attack. But divine justice is not only fair, it's strategic. It knows when to strike and how to strike in a way that brings clarity to everyone involved. Your enemies may never apologize, but they will witness what happens when you mess with someone who walks with divine favor. When the truth begins to come out, it won't trickle. It will flood. The lies that were spoken will be exposed for what they are. The people who joined in to destroy you will turn on each other. Those who laughed behind your back will be silenced when they see how high God takes you. What was meant to ruin you will end up being the very thing that elevates you. That's how divine justice operates. It doesn't just make things right, it makes things better than before. You won't just be vindicated, you'll be honored. You won't just survive the storm, you'll come out of it with a glow they can't explain. And those who doubted you, who believed the worst about you without ever asking your side, will feel the weight of their silence. They could have stood with you, but they chose to remain quiet. They could have defended your name, but they chose to protect their own reputation instead. Now they'll have to watch as the very person they abandoned becomes someone they can't ignore. Being chosen doesn't mean being perfect. It means being set apart for a divine purpose, and that purpose often attracts warfare. But it also guarantees protection. The lies and slander were never about who you really are, they were about stopping who you're becoming. And the more they talk, the more they reveal themselves. The more they scheme, the more they dig their own graves. God is not mocked. What is sown must be reaped. Those who sow division, deceit, and destruction into your life are entering a season of harvest, and it won't be one they can celebrate. You don't have to lift a finger. You don't have to clap back. Your silence is a weapon. Your patience is a strategy. Divine justice is already in motion, and it knows exactly where to go and what to correct. You weren't forgotten. You weren't overlooked. You were being prepared for a season where everything stolen is returned, where every lie is dismantled, and where every wound becomes a testimony. God sees everything, even the things others think they've done in secret. Nothing escapes his sight, not the quiet schemes, not the fake smiles, not the whispered gossip behind closed doors. He is not a passive observer, he is an all-knowing and all-seeing presence. When people come against a chosen one, they may think no one will ever find out. They believe their intentions are hidden, that their manipulation is undetectable. But God watches it all, from the very first jealous thought to the final lie told to sabotage your name. He is not blind to the pain inflicted upon his anointed. Every tear you've cried, every sleepless night you've endured, every moment of confusion and betrayal has been seen, felt, and recorded in the heavens. You are not unseen. You are not abandoned. You are divinely observed, and your hurt matters more than you realize. There are times when being a chosen one feels like carrying a burden no one else understands. People look at you and assume you're strong enough to handle anything, so they keep pushing and testing you. They misunderstand your silence for weakness, your kindness for naivety. But God sees beyond what people assume. He knows your heart, He knows your intentions, He knows the truth behind your actions, even when the world chooses to believe the lies. That's why you don't have to waste your energy trying to prove yourself to anyone. When the time comes, He will reveal who you really are. The same people who questioned your integrity will be silenced by the truth. The same people who spread lies about you will have to watch your name be restored and elevated beyond their imagination. The slander wasn't just an attack on your character, it was a test of your calling. And though it hurt, you passed. You didn't retaliate. You didn't let it poison your spirit. You chose faith over fury, prayer over pettiness. And that choice did not go unnoticed. God saw you biting your tongue when you wanted to speak up. He saw you taking the high road when the low road was wide open. He saw you clinging to Him when others wanted you to fall. All of it counts. All of it matters. You may not have received applause or validation in the moment, but the heavens took note. Your obedience, your restraint, your faithfulness under pressure is what's setting you up for divine elevation. People think because their punishment doesn't come immediately, they've gotten away with it. But that's the deception of delay. God doesn't forget. He's not bound by human timelines. When He decides to move, He moves with power and precision. He exposes what's been hidden, and He lifts up what's been torn down. That's why your name is about to shine in rooms that once mocked you. Your story is about to be shared in ways that highlight your strength, your endurance, and your unwavering faith. Every false narrative will be replaced by divine truth. Every cruel intention will be met with a consequence designed by heaven itself. They didn't just lie on you, they lied on someone God set apart, and that comes with a price. God also sees your confusion. He knows how deeply it hurt when people you trusted turned on you. He knows how disorienting it was when everything seemed to shift so quickly, when friends became strangers and support turned into silence. You didn't understand why it had to happen that way. You wondered what you did wrong. But what you didn't know is that God was allowing certain things to be revealed for your protection. He let the masks fall off so you wouldn't keep depending on people who were never for you. He allowed the betrayal to take place so you'd finally release relationships that were draining your spirit. It wasn't punishment, it was preparation. God saw what you couldn't see, and in His mercy, He brought the truth to light. There's something sacred about the moments when everything seems to be falling apart but you still hold on to your faith. When the world says you're finished, but you know in your spirit that something greater is coming. That kind of faith doesn't come from shallow belief, it comes from knowing that God sees you. Really sees you, not the version others perceive, not the image that's been distorted by lies, but the real you. The one who's been wounded and still worships. The one who's been betrayed and still believes. That's why the story isn't over. That's why the attacks haven't succeeded. Because you were never fighting alone. Every fiery dart thrown at you was intercepted by grace. Every plan formed against you was filtered through divine hands. And because He sees all, He guards all. God also sees the intentions behind the actions. People can do the right things for the wrong reasons, or the wrong things with a smile on their face. But motives are never hidden from heaven. That's why you don't need to explain yourself to everyone. The one who matters most already knows. He knows when someone pretends to help you but secretly hopes you fail. He knows when someone gives you advice that's designed to keep you small. He knows when a compliment is really a subtle dig meant to lower your confidence. You don't have to call them out, God will. He will expose what needs to be exposed in His perfect timing. You just have to keep walking, keep trusting, keep surrendering your pain at His feet. Your journey hasn't been easy, but it has been watched. Closely, lovingly, intentionally. God saw you when you stayed quiet to keep peace. He saw you when you turned the other cheek instead of retaliating. He saw you when you chose integrity over popularity, when you refused to lower your standards just to fit in. And now, He's preparing to reward you publicly for what you endured privately. The vindication coming your way isn't just about clearing your name, it's about revealing your true identity. They may have tried to define you by your past, but God is defining you by your purpose. And because He sees everything, He knows exactly how to restore, rebuild, and raise you up in ways that leave no doubt about who you belong to and who was with you all along. When you're a chosen one, you carry a divine signature on your life that no amount of slander, betrayal, or spiritual attack can erase. There's a mark on your soul that sets you apart, even when people try to box you in or bring you down. That mark comes with supernatural protection, with a spiritual covering that shields you even in moments when you feel exposed. The attacks might be loud, the lies may spread fast, and the people around you might even believe what they hear. But heaven knows the truth. And when God is for you, nothing and no one can stand against you. Your vindication is not just coming, it's guaranteed. The very people who thought they buried you with their words will witness your rise with their own eyes. They will watch your life become a testimony to the power of divine justice and the unwavering protection that surrounds those whom God has chosen. You were never meant to blend in with the crowd, and that's why the warfare has been intense. The enemy sees the light in you, and he hates it. He sees your potential to shift atmospheres, to bring healing, to break generational cycles, and he's terrified. That's why your name has been under attack. That's why your reputation was targeted. It wasn't about who you are now, it was about who you're becoming. The goal was to make you question yourself, to make you shrink, to convince you that maybe you were never really chosen in the first place. But deep down, even in your weakest moments, you knew the truth. You knew you were different. You knew you were marked for something bigger than yourself. That knowing kept you going, kept you praying, kept you standing when everything else around you was trying to knock you down. The protection that covers you is not just physical, it's spiritual. You've been shielded from things you didn't even know were aimed at you. Conversations that were meant to destroy you never reached the ears they were intended for. Plans made in secret were dismantled before they could manifest. People who intended to walk into your life and harm you were blocked without explanation. That's divine interference. That's what it means to be under the hand of God. Even when you felt unworthy, even when you thought you had nothing left, there was something surrounding you that kept you from being completely broken. That something is the favor and protection reserved for the chosen. You may not have seen the protection with your eyes, but you've felt it. You've felt the way certain things just didn't go as planned for those who tried to hurt you. You've seen how the people who tried to drag your name were the ones who eventually faced embarrassment or silence. It wasn't coincidence, it was consequence. The spiritual laws that govern the lives of God's chosen are not ordinary. What is done to you comes back multiplied. The seeds others plant in your life, whether good or evil, bear fruit that they must face. That's why your only responsibility is to stay aligned, stay humble, and stay faithful. God takes care of the rest. He doesn't allow harm to go unaccounted for. And He doesn't let His children suffer without restoration. There is a divine order to how your story unfolds. Nothing happens by accident. Every betrayal, every disappointment, every loss was a part of your molding. But protection was woven into every chapter. Even when you were crying alone, even when it looked like the enemy was winning, there was a hedge of divine fire around you. That's why they couldn't break you. That's why you still carry peace in your heart, even after the chaos. Because the kind of protection God gives is not just about safety, it's about preservation. He didn't just keep you from harm, He preserved your purpose. He kept your gifts intact. He protected your identity, even when others tried to distort it. He didn't let the pain make you bitter. He allowed it to refine you so that when your moment came, you'd be ready to carry the weight of your calling. People often misunderstand divine protection. They think it means you'll never face trials. But being chosen means the fire comes, the storms rage, the slander spreads, but none of it destroys you. You endure it and come out stronger. The protection is not in the absence of struggle but in the presence of divine power during the struggle. You've been walking through battles with angels beside you, with grace ahead of you, and with wisdom growing within you. That's why your enemies are confused. They did everything they could to break you, but you came back better. They don't understand how you're still standing, how you're still smiling, how you're still moving forward. That's because what protects you can't be touched or traced by man. It's divine, it's invisible, it's unstoppable. There's also a public element to the way God vindicates the chosen. He doesn't just restore you quietly. He makes a spectacle of your elevation so that the same mouths that slandered you will be forced to speak of your success. The same people who doubted you will be in rooms where your name is honored. The lies will be drowned out by the evidence of your transformation. And all of it will point back to the one who protected you when no one else would. Your life becomes a message to others that messing with a chosen one carries spiritual consequences. That protection is not just about survival, it's about displaying the glory of God through your life. It's about showing the world what happens when someone stays faithful through the fire. As you move forward, know that you are never alone. Every step you take is watched, guided, and surrounded by divine forces. You are covered on every side. The attacks may come, but they will not prosper. The lies may rise, but they will not last. The plans of the enemy may be formed, but they will not succeed. Your name is written in the palm of God's hand. Your destiny is sealed, and no matter what they say, what they try, or what they assume, they can't touch what heaven has already ordained. You are not just surviving, you are protected, preserved, and prepared for a future that reflects the glory of your calling.